get everything ready. Alrighty, so are you frustrated because your MOV files won't play on Windows? And if you're not sure what an MOV file is, no worries. I will explain that in a minute. But the good news is you're not alone. I guess, Misery Loves Company. Not to worry. It's an easy fix, and I'm going to show you in this quick tutorial a couple of simple step-by-step solutions to make it easy for you to open and view MOV files on any Windows PC. So, Windows 10 or later. It actually works on a lot of the older ones too. So, don't worry. These fixes are going to have you checking out your videos in no time at all. Let's get started.
So watch our channel, come and see and laugh and learn, and you'll agree you'll make your tech life easier with your tech coach.
Alrighty, did I remember to do this? No, I didn't. Okay, we'll do without that. Alrighty, so at some point in life, right, a teamwork, employee, graphic designer, contractor, somebody's going to send you an MOV file for a project. And of course, you're going to want to check that out on your computer. And so you're going to click on it, double click on it, and you're going to get an error. And this is normally the point where people freak out, and it may be why you're here. So the good news is that you don't have to worry, because it's not just you. It happens to everybody, and we're going to get into why. The variety of the errors will vary depending on your particular setup, but basically it's going to tell you that it can't play it. And it may or may not make some recommendations to you, but that's okay. Just don't worry about that right now. We'll show you the easy ways to do this, right? And so I promise you can do this, and it's going to be okay, and you don't need to convert it. And that's very important because there may be a very good reason why they sent you that MOV file. So deep breath. It's going to be okay. We all have those days. It's okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do it. Some are free. Some do involve a paid-for app, but you may actually want that app for other reasons. So we'll talk about that also. Okay, so let's dive into this, right? So why is this a problem? The short answer is Apple. The reason this is a problem is Apple. And I'm sorry to all the Apple fans out there who might be watching. I'm not picking on Apple. It's just the reality of the situation. The MOV file is one of the QuickTime formats, and QuickTime is something that Apple created. And there have been times, when Apple has played nicer in the sandbox than others, and at the current, for the longest time now, that's not the case, right? So this is a proprietary format controlled by Apple. And that means they own the licensing, the intellectual properties behind it, and many of the codecs or the intellectual properties behind that. Now, I'll explain what a codec is in a minute if you're not familiar. But that's part of why that's happening. So in order for it to just magically work for us in Windows, Microsoft would need to license and integrate those specific codecs, which is complex because of their relationship, costly because of their relationship, and unlikely because of Apple's tight control on things. So here we are. This is why we're doing this. This is why we're in this particular situation. Just give me a second here. I just want to fix something. Oh, come on. Give me what I want. There we go. One moment, just because I'm going to keep hitting that button. So let's just fix that button. Let's just fix that reality for us. There we go. Okay. So like I said, there's good news because there are free and paid options for you to do this. So it doesn't require a lot of work on your part. It's a good thing. You probably already have one of the solutions installed. So all good. And of course, as always, the links are in the description where you're watching. And if you don't see them where you're watching, then maybe head over to the YouTube channel because they're definitely there. All right. But for those of you who are new here, welcome. Happy to have you here. My name is Kathleen. I'm here as your tech coach. Basically, what I do is I'm a digital business coach and integration advisor. So I help you find the right workflows, tools, and tech for your business success. So welcome. We're happy to have you here. Feel free, if you're here live, you can jump in the chat with whatever questions you have. Otherwise, you can put them into the comments, or you can always reach out to me on the website. So feel free. Whatever works best for you, whatever makes you happy, go for that. All right, so let's first talk about why somebody might send you an MOV file. They're not doing it to piss you off, I promise. So the odds are that you're working with somebody on something, right? Or they have something that they want to show you as a concept, right? So they've maybe created that particular file on a Mac or on their iPhone. And MOV is the default video format for those devices. The other thing is that maybe whatever they're giving you is something that the intention is that you're going to use it as an overlay. So like this is an overlay. That is an overlay, right? So I'm on the video, but these things are showing up for you there. And the reason that this kind of thing works is because of what they call an alpha channel, right? So it's transparent. So this part of this obviously is not transparent, but everything else is, so that my video is coming through. And that is a very common reason for people to give you an MOV file. So maybe, you know, they're helping you, or they're giving you resources for your videos or for your social media posts, that kind of thing. So that might be why they've given it to you. So yeah, all the alpha channel is an image or a video file. It can be in like PNG files, GIF files, that kind of things, or video files. And it's just the idea that you have a transparent so that you can get this layering effect going. Just for general information, you don't really need to know this, but if you're curious, a video codec is CODEC. Could be software or it could be a hardware tool that compresses and decompresses video files. So basically, that's what the name comes from, right? It's a combination of coder and decoder. And what it does is it makes it easier to store and transmit and send the different video files, and then it gets decoded on the other side for playback. So, right, so it's compressing it, sending it, and then decompressing it so you can see it. So basically, they're making the very large video files, and they are large, more manageable, easier to share, and easier to stream. Now, if you don't want to listen to this whole thing, if you don't have time to go all the way through, if you're frustrated by this, I recommend you stick around and check out the options. But if you don't have time for that, you can also ask the person, especially if you need it as an overlay file, for a WebM, WEBM file instead. That's a newer format that also does the transparencies and lets you do these things as overlays. So you can do that. For regular videos that you don't need the alpha channel, like you don't need the transparency element of it, you can also ask for an MP4 version, or you could convert what you've got. But please don't convert your MOV file until you're sure, and ask them, like, do I need this as an MOV? Is that the only way it's going to work for this project? Or is it okay if I make it an MP4? And they will answer that for you. Okay, so we're good. We don't have to worry about it. All right, so let me show you a couple of these things that I'm talking about. Now, like I said, there's multiple free ways, and then I'm also going to give you a paid option because it's a handy tool, and it'll work, and it gives you other features too. So if you are using many of the online storage tools, right? So I'm talking OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, you can check with them to see whether or not that would be an option for you. And the odds are pretty good that it is, and that they do have that as a feature, so that you could take the file, like if it's not working for you on your computer and you don't have any of the other options I'm going to talk about, put it into your Google Drive, your Dropbox, whatever, and then once it's loaded up there, double click on it and you can view it. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, so here, I know it's a little small, but it's okay. You'll see the important part. So here I have an MOV file, right? And this would not work on my computer. Well, at least it wouldn't before I did all the things I'm going to tell you. But I uploaded it here, and now I can download it, and you can see, oh, okay, it is working. And that's generally what you're looking to do when you start, is that you want to be able to see that the file is what you were expecting it to be. And that is just half the battle right there. So it's pretty much the same process for any of them. So you're going to load the file into that online storage resource. Once it's there and it tells you that it's completed the upload, then you can double click on it and you can check it out there. Pretty simple. The next free option is particular browsers. Now, basically, not any of the Chromium-based ones, right? So not, Chrome or Opera or things like that. However, Firefox and the Zen browser will both do this. So I had these open, but I had to reboot my system. So let me give you a second here. One moment, please. Actually, I wonder if do I have Firefox over here? Oh, it might work over here too. Okay, let's try that. One sec. Let me get the file. All right, we'll give this a try. We'll live on the edge. I'm pretty sure this is an updated enough version to work, but let's give it a try. All right, so what you're going to want to do is, here, let me make that go away for a second. You're going to go to wherever you have put this file that the person has sent you, and then you're going to right click on it. And you're going to say open with. Now it's going to give you a bunch of different options. Media player can work, but I'm not going to show you this because frankly, it's a huge pain in the ass. And it doesn't automatically have the right codecs loaded and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to use that, you can go ahead and, look online and find ways to do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and say, choose another app. And we're going to find Firefox. And we're going to say just once because you don't necessarily want it to be the default. And here, we'll make this big. And then you see it works. So this is just Firefox. This is not going to cost you anything. If you don't already have Firefox downloaded, you can just download it and install it and be good to go. So that to me is like my favorite way of like helping out a client with it really quick, because that way it's just there. Now I think I did put Zen here. So just give me a moment while I open this folder again. And we'll do the same process, but with the Zen browser. Now the Zen browser is a newer one. When you go to look at it, you'll see that it says beta, but it's solid. I've not had any problems with it. And frankly, I'm really liking it. It may become my default. Okay, so again, I have this file here, right? It's the same one, it's the Falling Dollars. And if I right click on this, same process, I'm going to come here and do open with and say choose another app and then scroll through. Now, depending on how often you use the thing, it may be here or you may have to say choose an app on your PC. Just like, any other right click kind of thing. So we're going to click this and we're going to say just once. Don't make it, right? And see, there we go. It's working. So right there, for free, you've got multiple options that absolutely will work and will let you then verify that this is the one that you want to use. It's really straightforward. That said, that is maybe not always going to be the thing that you want to do, right? So maybe you're going to want to do something else with it. So that's okay. We've got, other options for you. So now that we've talked about using like online storage options like, Google Drive and all that to help you with these MOV files and talked about the browsers that can help you take a look at them and work with them, let's talk about two tools that you can use. One that will just let you use the file. So like if you wanted to use it for, incorporation to another video or just want to look at it and watch it. And another one that will actually change the format for you. Now, one of these has free and paid levels and the other one is a paid, but I do think they offer a trial too. If this is something you run into a lot, I highly recommend getting the paid tool, which we'll talk about in a second, just because it's so freaking convenient and fast and does all the things. And it just it resolves a lot of issues, at least for me, because I have to deal with these kinds of things a lot, not just for MOV files, but for other things. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to start with what we talk about a lot here, Canva. So Canva can accept MOV files and you can view them and do whatever you want with them then. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So you're going to go into your Canva account and I usually just go into projects and uploads. And then you can, if you haven't already uploaded it, you can go ahead and just, drag it in here, or you can use the usual side thing to do the upload. But I went ahead and did that in advance because I didn't want to waste your time watching things load. So if you tried to open this Falling Dollars on your computer to watch it, it's going to fail for you, right? That's what we've been talking about all along here. But in here, you can go ahead and you can watch it. Now, in this case, this particular one was built to be an overlay. So kind of like, let's see, what are the ones we're doing here? Do I have the overlays in here? I think I've got the math one. Just to show you what I'm talking about. Come on, here we go. So for example, like this. Right, so this is an overlay, right? You still see me, but now you're seeing this video run on top of it. So that works because of the transparency. Now, the transparency may or may not matter to you as far as the MOV file, but very often that's why people are sending you that, is because it was designed to be a transparency. But like we talked about, WebM is now out there and it's a much easier win because it works for everything. We don't have the Apple entanglement there. So that's what this one is set up for. But again, somebody could just send you an MOV of like, having a good time on vacation or whatever. So it doesn't really matter. It just depends on what your end goal is. So, if you just want to verify that it works, there you go. This shows you that it works. Whereas if you tried to run this on your PC, you would be getting the error. If you do want to use it for something, you're going to come over here and say use in design. The download doesn't give you any real useful options here because it's going to only give you the MOV. It's going to give it back to you the way that you gave it to that. So that's sort of just a loop. So you don't need to do that, but you can use it in a design. You can go ahead and bring it in and then use it in a video or whatever. And then when you're done, you could come up here and share and then do the download. And at that point, you've got a couple of options, but none of them are video options that will give you the transparency. So just keep that in mind. You can definitely get it down. You can use it as an MP4, you know, add music, other things to it. You can use it in other projects in Canva, like, you know, if you're doing like a presentation or whatever, you can do that. So you've got some flexibility in there. So that is definitely one option, especially if you're already using Canva. It's a win because you've just got it. And as long as you don't need the overlay feature, you're good to go. So let's talk about the other option. And that is a tool called Wondershare Uni Converter, and the link is in the description as always. So this does a bunch of different things, and this company has a bunch of different tools out there, compressors and batch editors and stuff. So there's a lot of different stuff. If you work with video on any level, it's definitely worth looking at. But what we're going to talk about is using just the Uni Converter, which is an app that you install on your computer. Once you install the application and you go into it, it's going to look like this. You know, obviously things may change depending on the version you're on, but you see that it's got a lot of flexibility in it. Like, it's got a lot of cool tools in it. You've got a lot of options over here. We're just going to focus on the converter because we're talking about the MOVs. So when you go to the converter, all you need to do is just drag in the file. So we'll go ahead and grab this. It's the same one that we just looked at. Drag it here and you're good to go. It gives you some information about it. And then you can come over here and you can choose the format that you want. So again, that's going to depend on what you're looking to do. But if you are looking to maintain the transparency, if you want to use this as an overlay for something, I recommend going with the WebM because that works with just about everything we have on both sides of the fence these days. So you go ahead and select that. You can select the quality level that you want for it. So I'm going to select that, and then you're just going to hit convert, and it's going to go ahead and run. Now, the amount of time it's going to take depends on the size of the file that you've got, the speed of your computer, all that kind of good stuff. So you can do a bunch of these. Like if you've got, you know, somebody sends you like, you know, a handful of these, 5, 10, however many, you can set them all up. You can configure them to convert to whatever you want. And then you can just let it run and go make yourself a cup of coffee, take the dog for a walk, whatever works for you. But then you'll be good to go. I'm just looking to see, oh, I didn't hit, sorry. So this is the other part of this, sorry. So once you get it loaded with however many you've got, I'm just going to do the one, but when you've got all the different ones, down here, you can specify where it's going to save it to. And then you're going to come over here and hit start all, and then it's going to run. And this is fairly small, so I don't think it's going to take terribly long, but I won't make you sit there and watch it. But then after it's done, it's going to be available in the folder. Did that finish already? It did. So let me show you. One sec. There we go. So to see that it, you know, when it finishes, you can come down here and click on file location. For me, it's just easier than going through Explorer and finding stuff. And then you'll see the file that you just completed, and you'll see that now it's a WebM file. So now it's available for you to use for whatever purposes or whatever projects you need to use it in. So hopefully out of all of these different options I've given you, you're going to find one that works for you, because basically there's like 2 levels to this, right? Does the file work? And then working with the file if you're the one who's going to, right? So if you're just trying to verify a file that somebody sent you, or if it's just, you know, a fun video that somebody sent you, like I said, from vacation, or something funny happened around the house, whatever, with these different options, you can absolutely watch it and enjoy it. When it comes down to being able to use it in a project that you're working on yourself, then I do recommend something like Wondershare Uni Converter. Now, there's other tools out there, absolutely. Do be careful, because there's a couple out there that are a little on the shady side that I don't feel comfortable using anymore. I don't know what happened to the company, but some of the choices they made now don't feel so good. So do your research, be careful. This one I highly recommend. It's easy, it's fast, and it's, you know, a reasonably priced option. But the point is, watching it or working with it, you have lots of options, and hopefully one of these will work for you. We'd love to hear in the comments which one you're using, what you're using it for, all that kind of good stuff. And as always, if there's anything else that you would like me to cover, please feel free to reach out. I am absolutely thrilled to get ideas from you folks about content that you need, answers, that kind of thing, how-tos. So feel free to go ahead and reach out here. If you need a consult, you can also get that there. And if you are interested, I did set up the Patreon after so many people asked. So there's free and there's paid tiers. And I'm posting, videos and information that it would be too much to hit it all here on this kind of a site. So, you'll find stuff here that you're not going to find other places from me. I'm doing monthly calls here, so you can feel free to join those. Those are Zoom calls, and you can go ahead and we can, actually have a conversation instead of me just talking to a camera. So either way, I hope that we have now made MOV files a little easier for you on the PC, and we will be back with other things. Have a good one. Bye.
So watch our channel, come and see and laugh and learn, and you'll agree you'll make your tech life easier with your tech coach.